So, based on a lot of my recent videos, you guys really like it when I talk about the anime original ending for Attack on Titan. So being as I aim to exclusively please, I decided to talk about AOE one last time, I hope, and about why I personally believe AOE won't happen. And if you've seen my previous videos, you probably know what I'll say, but this video is really meant to encapsulate all of my opinions on AOE into one giant video. So if I'm wrong, you know what videos to watch and laugh at, and if I'm right, you know what video to watch and laugh at. Also, no spoilers for anything. This is anime only safe. So, if you love Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Chainsaw Man, and Demon Slayer, then you are in the right place. Get subscribed, and as well, be sure to drop a like on this video to help this reach into the algorithm. So for the layman who is new to the channel or maybe needs a refresher and doesn't know what AOE is, AOE stands for Anime Original Ending. This concept is based on the idea that an anime adaptation of a manga series would, instead of getting the original ending of the manga, the anime would go back and redo the ending to be something different. This can be for a multitude of reasons, from being out of necessity, a desire for the original author to maybe change their vision, backlash, or due to unhappy groups and fandoms which call for it. In this case, for Attack on Titan, AOE has been called upon by unhappy groups in the fandom of AOT that maybe didn't like the original ending and wanted it to be something else. And I do want to say here that many different groups are going to have many different opinions on what they wanted to be different. That's what's really unique about this AOE. But that's what people refer to when they say they desire an AOE for Attack on Titan. They literally want the anime changed. So, why is it never happening? Well, it's really simple, and that's because there is basically no precedent that has ever been set for an AOE in the anime industry. That is the key to figuring out that any AOE theory you see is really nothing more than wishful thinking at best. This is because the way the anime industry works these days is that most studios, when making anime adaptations, typically like to stay faithful to the original material if at all possible. This is because there is a culture in Japan of being as respectful to the author as humanly possible. Sure, there are examples of series going anime original with content, but there has never been an example of an anime original ending specifically with a series that has no changes up until that point. Many people will bring up Fullmetal Alchemist from 2003 as an example of an anime original ending, but that is not correct. Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 was anime original for over 60% of the series. Did it have an original ending? Well, yeah, absolutely, but to say it had an AOE is factually wrong when we're talking about the proposed ending AOE fans want for AOT. It's apples to oranges. Attack on Titan so far has really faithfully adapted every single chapter of the series, barring a few swapped scenes and added details and moments not found in the original story. This is because Isayama is highly involved in the production of the anime series and wanted those changes. Also, we have to consider the example behind Fullmetal Alchemist is much different, just as it is for any anime that goes anime original content. That series went full anime original because the author was still writing the series. So, out of respect for her work, and because they had so many episodes booked they had to produce, they adapted the material they had and then decided to do something totally original while she toiled away finishing the series. As well, many people will state that Isayama is still all in on AOE and that he himself is reading all of the posts and giving us hints. Well, this is also not the case either, and totally unproven when you consider the troubled history of production for Attack on Titan. Wit Studios, the studio literally made to produce Attack on Titan Season 1, only signed up for one season. After the first season, they stated they wanted to drop the series, as to produce Attack on Titan, it took a lot of time and effort. Time and effort they wanted to avoid with this series. This is mainly because the scale of the Titans is really very hard for animators and artists to draw in animation, amongst other examples, and thus they wanted to really just ditch the entire production after Season 1. However, when it blew up, they were made to produce Season 2 and Season 3, and as well the OVAs. This led to Wit Studios having to delay Season 2 production due in part to Isayama trying to finish the manga as it was ongoing. But still, Season 2 took 4 years to come out, which many people forget. Then as well, when Season 3 finally started to release, they had to delay the second half of that season due to, you guessed it, more issues making Attack on Titan much more difficult to produce than your typical anime series. Attack on Titan is not an easy series to produce for in the least, and many staff members have made that fully aware. Even Mapa has had a lot of trouble producing Attack on Titan, as they have split the final season of the series up into 4 parts. Not because of the false narrative of it being milked, but out of sheer necessity as, once again, Attack on Titan is likely one of the hardest anime currently in existence to produce for, and we really know that for a fact. There was a reason Wit abandoned Attack on Titan. They didn't want it. It was too hard to produce. So taking all of that into considerations, why then would Mappa throw out the entire final volume they've yet to produce just so that they can make their lives that much harder to make a fan theory come true? Well, they won't. It simply would be a production nightmare to rewrite the entire finale of the series, which Isayama himself wrote, and he himself is heavily involved in production. Many people will state Isayama apologized for the ending he wrote, and that he hates the ending himself. This is a complete misunderstanding of what he said on purpose by some few bad actors out to make the production look bad for some internet updoots. Isayama stated in the interview actually at the fan event that he apologized for all of the division in the community, and that he feels responsible for all of the toxicity because of the ending that he wrote. As well, he stated that he felt he could have written some choices of dialogue much better. But that doesn't mean Isayama will make Mappa throw out all of the planning they did for Mappa to redo. Mappa, as we know, are an historically overworked studio. If you don't believe me, look up the director of the second to last episode of AOT. The man looks like he's on deathbed and oh my god, those are some insane bags under this dude's eyes. You see, my reasoning for believing this is not that I hate AOE or I hate AOE fans or I think it's ridiculous. It's none of that at all. You see, the reason AOE can't happen is because it simply can't possibly happen. The logistics of creating something that massive of an undertaking in just a year's time is impossible to achieve with a series like this. As well, as much as people say there are hints towards AOE, like the Attack Titan's eyes being different colors, or the shirt he's wearing in the third to last episode being different in episode 1, all of these different myriad of theories, all of it can't be relied upon because there is equally just as much evidence pointing towards the series retaining the original ending. We can see this via the reflection in the window of the cabin in the final promotional art for the final season. This right here really does confirm, above all else, that AOE can never happen. However, life is full of compromises, and I would be stupid not to compromise and say that there wouldn't be changes. Isayama, as I stated previously, felt he didn't write certain scenes in the finale the best that he could in the manga. As we do know, Isayama is very hands-on with Attack on Titan's production, and for that reason, I think we should see many examples of dialogue changed around, fleshed out, rewritten, and even extra sequences and shots to make the experience take to anime much better. As a person who read the ending of the series, obviously, I think this is the best shot, as I myself don't even think the ending is exactly perfect, and with Isayama's insistence of using the anime to improve his original work, if I were him, I would use this as a second chance to improve upon an already nearly perfect ending for what it is. If you are an AOE hyper, this is really what you should expect above all else. You should be cautiously optimistic. and it is something I think many AOE believers would actually like and end up enjoying. We haven't seen the final chapter translate to animation just yet, so I think naturally it's quite too early to say that the people who hate the manga ending and the way it was presented in the manga will hate the anime ending as well. I think what you will see is many people will realize, oh hey, when you add the music, the voice acting, the animation, the visual effects, and presentation, well, this is actually pretty good. The reason I think this is the case is because, well, it's happened plenty of times already. Because Hanji's death in the manga was very maligned by a very similar portion who also hated the ending. Same for when Annie and Reiner teamed up to take on the Jaegerists in the docks. Sure, could it have been Fanboys? Yeah, but these two scenes people really did not like. However, if you go and you read up about what people think about these in the episodes and the moments, you'll find most people seem to agree these are legendary moments that are really well executed. Especially Hanji's death, which is basically the exact same scene one-to-one from the manga. So I think I'm pretty cautiously optimistic, and I think it's very reasonable to say that those who dislike this ending probably will find they enjoy the anime version better in some cases, because, as I stated, the same happened for these previous two examples. But what I want to stress above all else is that you should go into this ending expecting some greatness. Much of the hubbub around the ending is really just the nature of the internet. Don't get caught up in the hate cycle, guys. Just as a recent example, people said that the One Piece live action was a failure and horrible, yet statistics show that's not the case with the Season 2 announcement and the massive influx of viewers the series brought to Netflix. The truth is, the internet is going to make a mountain out of a molehill to push any narrative from anyone that can mean anything. My opinion is that you should not listen to these people. You can rest assured your ending is going to be good. You'll like it. If you don't, well, you're free to believe such a thing because people are not going to agree. That's just the way things are. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't, do check out my other Attack on Titan content, as well as my weekly anime podcast, where I talk about seasonal anime, and my Chainsaw Man channel, where I cover new chapters every time they drop. All linked in the pinned comment below. Financially support the channel and gain access to my mega One Piece arc reviews by becoming a patron. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.